Four words from a 16-year-old girl stopped Steve Harvey mid-sentence and changed Family Feud forever. The microphone slipped from his hand, hitting the studio floor with a metallic echo that made everyone freeze. 300 people sat in complete silence. Camera operators wiped their eyes, because what started as a regular Tuesday taping in Atlanta had just become something else entirely. Something raw. Something that would make millions of viewers realize that sometimes the most powerful moments happen when a secret too heavy for young shoulders finally breaks free. Sofia Martinez stood at the family podium, her hands gripping the edge so tightly her knuckles had turned white. At 16 years old, she was the youngest contestant that day, brought by her mother Isabella to what was supposed to be their big break. The $20,000 prize money could change everything. It could pay medical bills. It could buy them time. But what Sofia didn't know was that in less than 5 minutes, she would reveal a secret that would shatter her mother's heart and restore everyone's faith in humanity at the same time. 6 months earlier, Isabella Martinez had received the diagnosis that every parent fears: stage 3 breast cancer, aggressive, requiring immediate treatment. Isabella was a single mother, working 2 jobs as a nurse's aide and weekend restaurant server in Phoenix, Arizona. Her daughter Sofia was her entire world, a straight-A student, captain of the debate team, with a full scholarship waiting for her at Arizona State University. Isabella's biggest fear wasn't dying. It was leaving Sofia alone before she could see her daughter achieve everything she was capable of. The treatment started immediately. Chemotherapy every 2 weeks, radiation. The medical bills piled up faster than Isabella could count. Her insurance covered some, but the copays, the medications, the special treatments added up to thousands of dollars she didn't have. She took out loans. She sold her car and bought a cheaper one. But it still wasn't enough. And through it all, she tried to shield Sofia from the worst of it. She wore scarves to hide her hair loss. She forced herself to smile through the nausea. She never let Sofia see the medical bills. But Sofia understood more than her mother gave her credit for. She heard the late-night phone calls with bill collectors. She saw the prescription bottles with astronomical prices. She noticed how her mother started skipping meals so Sofia could eat. And one night, 3 months after the diagnosis, Sofia made a decision that would change everything. She didn't tell her mother. Isabella would never have allowed it. Instead, Sofia went to her guidance counselor and explained she needed to take a semester off from school. The counselor tried to talk her out of it. Sofia was too talented, too bright, but Sofia had made up her mind. She found a job at a local diner, working the early morning shift from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then she picked up another job at a grocery store 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week, no breaks, no complaints. She told her mother she was doing an intensive online school program. She'd leave before dawn and come home after Isabella was asleep. She'd slip envelopes of cash into her mother's purse, leaving notes saying it was from the church fund. For 2 years, Sofia lived this double life. Missing prom, missing graduation, missing everything a teenager should experience. All so her mother could survive. And Isabella's treatment worked. The cancer went into remission. The doctors called it remarkable. Isabella called it a miracle. She never knew the real reason they'd managed to keep up with the bills. She thought Sofia was thriving in school, getting ready for college. She had no idea her daughter had sacrificed everything to keep her alive. When the Family Feud invitation came, Isabella saw it as divine intervention, a chance to win money for Sofia's college fund. They drove 12 hours from Phoenix to Atlanta, Isabella chattering excitedly the whole way, Sofia quiet, carrying the weight of a secret about to explode into public view. The game started like any other episode. The Martinez family, rounded out by Isabella's sister Carmen, her nephew David, and family friend Miguel, played energetically. They were down by a few points against the Chen family from California, but the atmosphere was fun and competitive. Steve Harvey was in his element, cracking jokes, making everyone feel like they were part of something special. It was the 4th round when everything changed. The question seemed innocent enough. Name something you sacrificed for someone you love. Carmen went first. Time, earning the number 3 spot on the board. Then it was Sofia's turn. Steve walked over with his characteristic smile. Sofia, you're what, 16 years old? What could you possibly have sacrificed at 16? Sofia looked up at him. For a moment, something passed across her face. Pain. Deep, adult pain that no 16-year-old should carry. My education, she whispered. Her voice was so quiet the microphone barely caught it. But Steve heard it, and something about the way she said it made him stop. "What did you say, sweetheart?" Steve asked, his voice now stripped of all performance. Sofia looked over at her mother, standing at the podium with her family. Isabella was smiling, proud, completely unaware. Sofia's eyes filled with tears. "I said my education, Steve. I sacrificed my education." Steve set down his cards. He didn't check with the producers. He walked directly to Sofia and stood in front of her. "Talk to me. What do you mean?" And then, like a dam breaking, the truth came pouring out. "My mom has cancer. Stage 3. 2 years ago. The treatment was so expensive, and we didn't have enough money. And she was working herself to death, trying to pay for it all." Isabella gasped from the podium. "Sofia, what are you talking about?" But Sofia couldn't stop now. "I dropped out of school, Mom. I've been working 2 jobs for 2 years. The early morning shift at Miller's Diner and the evening shift at Save More Grocery. Every dollar I made went to your treatment. The envelopes of cash you found, that wasn't the church. That was me. I haven't been in school for 2 years." The studio erupted in shock. Isabella's legs gave out. Her sister Carmen caught her as she stared at her daughter in disbelief. Steve Harvey, a man who had hosted thousands of hours of television, found himself completely speechless. The cameras kept rolling, but everyone understood this was no longer entertainment. This was a 16-year-old girl revealing a sacrifice so profound that it redefined what love looks like. Steve reached into his pocket and pulled out his handkerchief. He walked to Sofia and gently wiped her tears. "How long have you been carrying this secret?" "Since we got picked for the show," Sofia whispered. "I wanted Mom to enjoy this. She's been through so much. I just wanted her to have one day where she could be happy. But when you asked that question, I couldn't lie anymore. I'm so tired of lying." Isabella ran to her daughter. She wrapped Sofia in her arms, both of them crying, holding each other like they were the only 2 people in the world. "Why didn't you tell me? I would never have let you do this." Sofia looked up at her mother. "I know, Mom. That's exactly why I couldn't tell you. You needed to survive. And I needed you to survive more than I needed anything else." Steve Harvey turned to face the audience, his face wet with tears. "Ladies and gentlemen, this young woman just taught us what real love looks like. A 16-year-old girl gave up her education, her teenage years, her dreams, so her mother could live. And she did it in silence, asking for nothing, expecting nothing in return." He walked to the Chen family. "Would you mind if we stopped this game right here?" Richard Chen didn't hesitate. "Steve, do whatever this family needs." Steve nodded, then made a decision that would define his entire legacy as a host. He removed his suit jacket and walked back to Sofia. "Sofia, I want you to have this. Because what you did, that's not just love. That's heroism. That's the kind of courage most adults never find." But Steve wasn't finished. He pulled out his phone right there on stage and made a call. When he came back, his eyes were bright with purpose. "Sofia, I just called my foundation. We're going to make sure you finish your education. Not just high school, college too. Full scholarship. And your mother's medical bills? The ones that are left? We're taking care of those too." The studio erupted. Richard Chen stepped forward. "My family owns a chain of restaurants. Sofia, if you want a job with better hours while you finish school, you've got one. And Isabella, we could use a good nurse's aide at our senior care facility." One by one, people in the audience stood up. A car dealership owner offered Isabella a reliable car. A real estate agent offered to help them find better housing. A doctor offered to monitor Isabella's health for free. What had started as a game show had transformed into something unprecedented, a community coming together to support a family that embodied everything good about humanity. Sofia stood there, wrapped in Steve Harvey's jacket, surrounded by love she never expected, crying tears of relief and overwhelming gratitude. Steve knelt down beside her one more time and whispered something in her ear that made Sofia smile, a real smile. Not the tired smile of someone carrying the world, but the genuine smile of a 16-year-old girl who had just been reminded that she wasn't alone. Subscribe and leave a comment because the most powerful part of this story is still ahead. The episode aired 4 months later. It became the highest rated Family Feud episode in the show's history, not because of drama or spectacle, but because viewers saw something they desperately needed to see: authentic human goodness, real sacrifice, and a reminder that love, when it's true, asks for nothing but gives everything. The donations poured in. Steve Harvey's foundation received over $3 million specifically designated for young caregivers like Sofia. They created the Sofia Martinez Scholarship Fund, supporting teenagers who had sacrificed their education to care for sick family members. Within a year, they had helped over 200 young people return to school. Sofia graduated from high school with honors 18 months later. She gave the valedictorian speech, and every word was about her mother, about sacrifice, about the difference between existing and truly living. Isabella sat in the front row, cancer-free, crying tears of pride as her daughter received the diploma she had earned twice over. Sofia is now attending Arizona State University, studying nursing. She wants to help families navigate the impossible choices her family faced. She still has Steve's jacket, framed in her dorm room, along with a handwritten note. True heroes don't wear capes. Sometimes they wear diner uniforms and carry grocery bags. You changed my life by reminding me what strength really looks like. Uncle Steve. Isabella works at the Chen family's senior care facility, where she's been promoted to head nurse. She speaks at cancer survivor events, but she doesn't talk about her own survival. She talks about Sofia, about the daughter who loved her enough to sacrifice everything, and about learning to let people help when you've spent your whole life trying to be strong alone. Steve Harvey said in an interview, "That day changed how I see my job. I realized I'm not just hosting a game show. I'm creating space for human moments. Sofia taught me that the most powerful thing you can do is tell your truth, even when it's hard." The Martinez family still watches Family Feud together every night. It's their tradition, their way of remembering the day their lives changed. But more than that, it's their reminder that sometimes the biggest victories have nothing to do with money. Sometimes they're about the moment when silence breaks and truth sets everyone free. When asked about those 2 years, Sofia says something that stops people in their tracks. I didn't lose those years. I gained something more valuable than any education could teach me. I learned that love isn't something you feel. It's something you do. And I learned that I'm stronger than I ever imagined. Those jobs didn't steal my childhood. They showed me what I'm capable of. After the episode aired, thousands of families started having conversations they'd been avoiding, about illness, about money, about silent sacrifices. Teenagers started talking to their parents about struggles they'd been hiding. Parents started being more honest about their challenges. The episode became more than television. It became a catalyst for honesty. There's a moment at the end of the original footage that the producers almost cut but decided to keep. After the cameras were supposed to stop rolling, Sofia and Isabella stood together on the empty stage, just mother and daughter. Isabella cupped her daughter's face and said, "I survived because of medical treatment, but I lived because of you. Do you understand the difference?" Sofia nodded. "You gave me 2 years of your life. I'm going to spend the rest of mine making sure you know how much that meant." Steve Harvey keeps a photo from that day on his desk. Sofia is wearing his jacket, laughing at something her mother said. The caption underneath reads, "The day I remembered why I do this." Because that's what Sofia's story revealed. That entertainment, at its best, isn't about escaping reality. It's about holding up a mirror to the best parts of humanity. The suit jacket Steve gave Sofia has become legendary. New employees at Family Feud are told Sofia's story during orientation, not as entertainment, but as a reminder of what television can be when it serves humanity instead of just serving ratings. Share and subscribe. Make sure this story is never forgotten, because Sofia Martinez didn't just sacrifice her education for her mother's life. She gave the world a reminder that in a time when everything feels divided and broken, there are still young people willing to give up everything for love. There are still mothers and daughters who would move mountains for each other. There are still communities ready to lift up families who need support. The answer Sofia gave that day was supposed to be just another response on a game board: education. Instead, those syllables became a doorway into a story that changed lives, that raised millions for young caregivers, that strengthened families. That reminded a cynical world that heroes don't always announce themselves. Sometimes they work the early morning shift at a diner and come home too tired to ask for recognition. And Steve Harvey, he still carries an extra pocket square in his jacket, just in case another Sofia walks onto his stage carrying a secret too heavy for young shoulders. Because that's what he learned that day, that his real job isn't to read questions or react to answers. His real job is to see people, really see them, and to create moments where they feel safe enough to be seen by everyone else too. That's what love looks like. That's what courage sounds like. And that's what happens when a 16-year-old girl teaches a television studio full of adults what it really means to sacrifice everything for someone you love.